Hey, what she look like, bro? Shorty fresh, shorty fine, yeah, face card valid, she gon' slay it every time. Independent, on the grind, yeah, all about the money, so she never got time. Hey, what she look like, bro? Shorty fresh, shorty fine, yeah, face card valid, she gon' slay it every time. Independent, on the grind, yeah, all about the money, so she never got time.
Hey, what's going on? Happy Friday. And today is a Friday throwback movie. I haven't done these in a while, but I said tonight is a good night to do it. Memorial Day weekend. So, for those that celebrate Memorial Day, happy Memorial Day. It's not a holiday that I celebrate or anything. So, but I'm just happy to have a long weekend and not have to go to work. If I don't, not have to work. So anyway, we're gonna be up here tonight, just talking about one of my favorite old school throwback movies, Boys in the Hood. Okay, so and I'm sure most people, especially if you're a certain age, you have seen this movie. Came out in 1991, and it's a coming of age story. It's a coming of age story. So, oh wait a minute, let me. Yeah, so Boys in the Hood. It's a came out in 1991, coming of age, crime drama. Uh, Directed by John Singleton, and it stars Cuba Gooding Jr., Lawrence Fishburne, and Nia Long, Tyra Farrell, Angela Bassett, Ice Cube, of course. That's a Morris Chestnut, and who else? Regina King. Okay, and this started off those all the urban, you know. This was probably one of the first urban. I think this was the first urban in this kind of genre of street urban movies after, because this came out in 91, and then Menace to Society came out in 93. So I remember 1991 going to see this movie, seeing it in the theaters. um it was, yeah, I love Boys in the Hood. I love Boys in the Hood. There's, even though it's a lot of funny scenes, but it's also some sad things that happen here. And of course, I'm making no secret that Menace Society is my favorite urban, of this genre, urban movies. Menace Society is still my number one favorite, but Boys in the Hood is right there. It's right there with Menace. Great soundtrack. Ice Cube and a whole bunch of other people is on the soundtrack, and it takes place in South Central. Okay, so we're gonna get all into it. Oh, some other little facts. It came out July 1991 to be for facts, and the budget was between 5.7 to 6 million. But this movie grossed a lot of, look, it was on, they only did about, the budget was about 6.5 million at the cap, but they did a phenomenal job in the box office. It made $57.5 million. They recouped that money multiple times, over and over and over. Okay, let's see who stepped up in here. Hey, Miss Nisi. Yes, I heard the news. I was sitting here minding my black business and getting my stuff together to talk about Boys in the Hood tonight. And I saw somebody sent me a message that Rob Bass had, passed on, and I don't know any details. I haven't gone onto social media to see what happened because I was busy doing stuff. But I'm going to dig into it and find out what happened. Had he been sick, or was it just, it seems like once you get over 50, you could just die from a heart attack anyway. I mean, Miss Niecy, we in that age group. I mean, I hope nothing don't happen to neither one of you, to you, neither one you or I, but neither one of us. But it seems like once you get over 50, anything can happen. So, and he got to be in his late 50s, probably 60. Because I remember when Rob Bass came out, I think I might have been maybe I was in high school. I think, yeah, maybe, or maybe just left high school. So but anyway, yeah, rest in peace to him. Rest in peace. Um and I will definitely look into what happened and post something about it. Okay, let's get back to Boys in the Hood. Boys in the Hood also was nominated for so many type of awards, and it did get some awards. It was a definitely a commercial success. And John Singleton was nominated for a Oscar. He was the first African American and the youngest person to be nominated for Best Director. And in 2002, the United States Library of Congress deemed it as culturally and historically significant. And it definitely is. It definitely is. Like I said, this started the genre of all these urban type movies. But Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society, those two movies, and even like Dead Presidents, you can do, you could actually teach a class on those types of movies. It's so many layers, even though it's some funny scenes, and things like that. But because every day in the hood ain't sad. You do laugh and joke in the hood too, but it's some sad scenes. And if things were just a little bit different, things wouldn't happen to these children. Because remember that they were all teenagers. They were playing teenagers at the time, little kids. So, but I'm gonna get all into it here. Let's see. Let me remove this. Okay. All right. So it starts out 1984. Okay. 1984. I'm about 14 years old. But we got 10-year-old Trey Styles. Well, his name is actually Jason Trey Styles, but no one called him Jason. He was a third, Jason Trey Styles the third, but they just but he was just they just called him Trey. But he lives with his single mother Reva, played by Angela Bassett. Trey played by, and they live in South Central. But right here, they was him and his friends. He's 10 years old. He's with his little friends from school. They look like they walk into school. And the one little boy here, he was a little badass little boy, and he said, um, somebody got shot, and he went to take them to where the body was, I guess the night before, and all the blood and the police tape and all that was still all over the place. So, and this is something, this is why I said this movie um can be very sad, because at 10 years old, you shouldn't have to even know about this kind of stuff. At 10 years old, you shouldn't have to be worrying about death and bodies and blood on the ground. And you got the posters on the wall back there is Ronald Reagan with bullet holes in it. You shouldn't have to, you shouldn't have to worry about this type of stuff at 10 years old. But unfortunately, they living in a bad part of South Central, and this is what they got to deal with just to get to school. Just to get to school. So when they in class, um the teacher was so incompetent, and I think she was racist. And she said she trying to teach them about the pilgrims, and and the Native Americans. She didn't even know to call them Native Americans. She was calling them Indians. I mean, she was just incompetent, and I believe she was a little racist. So she's trying to teach the kids this, those lies and whatnot. Hey, all I see, what's going on? Um, so Trey was cutting up in class, and she said, "Look, you come up here." He was being mouthy to the teacher, right? Even though she's a racist, mouthy. She said, "Look, you come on up here and you teach the class then." And he would start talking about Africa and how he said, all of y'all from Africa, everybody, we all from Africa. And then this little smart ass little boy, smart mouth boy, talking about, I ain't from Africa. I ain't from Africa. I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. And then Trey gets up in the little boy's face. Yeah, Trey was more educated than that teacher because she was she was nasty. She was old. bitch. But I would have been one of those mamas, and I was one of those mamas. Still am, even though my son's an adult. But I was definitely, when he was little, if he, like, when he was this age, 10 years old, I would have been right up at that school, and me and that teacher would have been having some words. So, but so this little boy talking about, I ain't from Africa. I ain't no African booty scratcher. I'm from Crenshaw. I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. So, and then Trey gets some little boy face talking about, yeah, you are from Africa. We all from Africa. And it was about to get real ugly. And so they up in each other's face. He said, I'll get my brother to blast you or something like that. And then and then Trey's like, you get your punk ass brother. I get my daddy. So then next thing you know, they get to fighting. Trey picked up that stick, the stick in what was like the yardstick or whatever it is in the classroom, and was beating the boy upside his head with it. So the little boy deserved to get his butt kicked because he was talking smack for no reason. It wasn't even necessary for him to say, I ain't from Africa, ain't no African booty scratch and all of he had to say all of that. He should have just sat there and listen and be educated. But he's ignorant. Who knows what probably happened to him down the line? Anytime he talking about, I'm gonna get my brother and I'm from Crenshaw Mafia. So he probably didn't last long, but it doesn't even matter because Trey got suspended. The teacher called the mother, Reva, played by the legendary Angela Bassett, beautiful as ever. And the racist teacher called and talking about, we Trey is suspended, and he has an anger problem, and and she was just very dismissive. She was not helpful at all in trying to find out what the problem was with Trey. She was just, nasty and rude. So we don't care about that teacher. And so the mother's like, well, you ain't got to worry about him coming back because he gonna go stay with his father. And she said, his father. She said, yeah, his father. She said, how you think we make babies? You know what I'm saying? So it was just rude. It's downright rude. So he had made a pact with his mother that if he did not that if he continued to keep getting in trouble in school, that his mother was going to send him to be with the father. And that's exactly what, he signed a contract that if I get in any more trouble, I gotta go be with my father. And he probably loved being with his father because they probably had fun and stuff, but he know his father is probably strict and he probably didn't want to go over there. And over there with his mother, he can do what he want because she's a single mother and she got to go to, and she was in college herself. She said she was getting her master's degree, and she's educated and got a job, but she was still wanting to do better for herself. So that lady that teacher was just out of line. Well, anyway, so Trey ain't gonna never see them damn kids no more anyway. So she packed him up. That was the agreement to go stay with his father. What was the father's name? Furious, right? No, no, what was the father's name? Damn, I done forgot already. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, the father's name. That I done messed up. I wrote my notes down what the father's name was, and I done forgot. Well, anyway, the father's played by Lawrence Fishburne. Um, Happy Friday. Like and subscribe. Yes. Yes, please like and subscribe. Let me see if I got my little commercial here. Please do all the things. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and and follow me on Instagram. Do all those things, okay? Let me do it again. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, follow me on YouTube and on Instagram. There we go. Okay, yeah, Furious Styles. Yeah, I thought it was Furious, but I ain't want to say it, and I was wrong. Even though I watched this movie like recently, and that's what made me sad. Let me go do the throwback because I've done throwbacks on all these other movies, and I realized I said I did Juice, I did all the Tupacs, I did all the two. Hold on one second, y'all. Hello, I'm live right now. Bye bye. You in the where? Heading home. Okay. All right. Bye bye. I apologize, y'all. People always like to call when you lie. That's why I put my phone on do not disturb. Um, but for some reason, I guess that call came through. Anyway, I apologize. That was rude. Um, yeah. So Furious Style. So the mother Reva sends him to live with his father. Furious, played by the legendary Lawrence Fishburne. Um, And so, she was saying, no, he was thanking Reva, saying, thank you for, bringing my son to me. And she said, look, I did my part. I did what I could do. You always say, I can't teach him to be a man. And that's your job. And at this point now, Trey is big. He's 10 years old. He getting bigger. He's acting up in school. So he needs a father to put hands and feet on him and get him straight. And he did a great job, with raising him. So they saying their goodbyes to each other. It looked like they had a relationship that, probably they was probably dating and everything, and then it didn't work out, and then she got pregnant. But they looked like they was good at co-parenting. That's what it looked like. I did love the relationship. I don't know how y'all felt. I love the relationship between these two. You clearly know they wasn't together, but they had a great co-parenting situation. Now, ladies in the chat, would you leave your kid with the father and let him take over and raise once the child get like a certain age, and especially if the kid is acting out and cutting up, and the father, especially like a boy too, and the father needs and the boy probably needs discipline, would you let your son go stay with his father? um I would have loved to have been able to do that, but my son's father wasn't in no um he wasn't able to do it. Let's put it that way. He wasn't able to do it. But I would have loved to I didn't have the opportunity, but I would have loved to be able to drop my son off at a certain age, say when he got like 12 or 13, and say, look, you stay with your father through your high school years, because you definitely need, that fatherly discipline and everything. But I had to be mother and father, sister, brother, best friend, and everything. So it was a little difficult for me. But in this case, it worked out. This was the best thing. Had he stayed with Reva, she might not been able to rein him in by herself. So at 10, she was able to give him to him while he was 10. That's a good age to catch him before he starts, because by 10 years old, they start picking up pistols now. They out here pound people at 10, 11, 12 years old. So the mother drives off, And I guess he sees his mother on the weekends, and whenever like that, because she's also was a full-time student in school, so it was better for him to be with his father. So the mother drives off, and then he's meeting up. Now this is where we meet his little friends, and we meet Doughboy. Okay, little Doughboy. We meet little Chris and little Ricky, and Ricky got that football in his hand. And actually, the little kid that played Ricky, he's the brother to the guy Darius McCrary, who played Eddie off of Family Matters. That's his brother. This is he played little Ricky. Oh, and also I wanted to mention this is also the same neighborhood right here that on the show Snowfall, where Franklin and Jerome and everybody live. This is also the same neighborhood. So all this is South Central Crenshaw, district or area. So he told women, let me read this. Yes, I would have, but unfortunately my kid's father passed away when they were young. Yeah, I mean, my son's father passed away. He wasn't real young. He was already out of school. Yeah, he was already out of school, but it was just a bad circumstance. It's a whole long drama story on that. He wouldn't have been able to do it. He couldn't even care for himself. You know what I mean? So his health declined, and he was in and out of the hospital a lot. He couldn't even care for himself. So he wouldn't have been able to take care of my son. So that wouldn't have worked. So but if everything was the way, if my son's father was like Furious Styles, oh, most definitely I would have done it. Most definitely. Yeah. Um so the father had told Trey that he wanted him to rake up all them damn leaves. He asked the boys to do it. He asked Doughboy and Chris, and they said, "How much you paying?" He said, "I give you $5 to rake up all these leaves." He said, $5, that ain't shit. He said, "I can go work for my uncle and make more money." Yeah, well, uncle probably selling crack. You know what I'm saying? So this was the era. This was 1984. So this is when you know crack was starting to get introduced to the neighborhood. This is when Franklin was introducing crack into the neighborhood. So it was all in that time frame. And heroin was around. So little Chris talking about I can go work with that big ass Jerry curl wig. So I can go work with my uncle and make more money. But yeah, but doing something you ain't supposed to be doing instead of taking the $5. But anyway, Furious told Trey he gonna do it, and he ain't give him no $5. You just gonna do it. And so he did it. He might have been complaining, but he did it. He had leaves all in his hair and everything. And then when he turned around, he came in the house to wash his face and wash up. And he looked and saw that dirty ass tub. I'm like, when the last time the father then took a damn bath or whatever? You was taking a shower in that nasty, dirty bathtub? That bathtub was black. Furious was educated, wise, hood, and handsome, and a great father and leader. Oh yeah, he most definitely was. Most definitely, yeah, yeah. Now, when I do my Father's Day list, he will not be on that list because usually I'm talking about the bad fathers. I'm not gonna put. He's a good father. So the good fathers, we already celebrate the good fathers anyway. So maybe I'll do like a half and half live, half good fathers and half bad fathers for Father's Day. So I did Mother's Day. So y'all make sure y'all give me names of who to put down for bad fathers. um so Trey is sitting there lifting the weights, and Furious is on the barbells and everything, and he was like, I gotta clean that nasty tub. And he said, he was telling him all the things he got to do about cleaning and him, taking out the trash and cleaning up. And he said, I gotta do all that around here. What are you gonna be doing? And Furious said, look, I got to pay the make money, pay the bills, put clothes on your back, food on the table. And he said, and what I'm doing is teaching you some responsibility. You just don't see it right now. He said, your friends across the street, they don't have nobody teaching them that. And he said, you gonna see how they gonna turn out. And we know foreshadowing, foreshadowing, we do know how they all turned out later on. But he said they don't have nobody showing them no responsibilities and anything. He said, but I'm that's what I'm going to be doing for you, because my job is to raise you to be, an independent young man. And so, I'm gonna say, oh, hang on a second. Okay. Yeah, that tub was very nasty. Yeah, I mean, what is he? Never took a bath or never took a shower? I mean, no, you could tell he been taking it. He just ain't never used no Comet or no Ajax or no bleach and clean the goddamn tub. God dang, gone. I gave you my name for bad for. Uh, yeah, you did. I wrote them down. I gotta find my piece of paper because I wrote them down on the day you gave them to me. You sure did. Now I gotta find my damn paper. So, um, that's when they opened the Panama Canal and and they flood our neighborhood with crack. Yes, Miss Niecy, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Hey, um, so Furious is like, I'm gonna show you response. My job is to pay all the bills, put food on the table, clothes on your back, shoes on your feet, make sure that you go to school and do what you're supposed to do. Be a productive young man. Um, I'm just summarizing everything he said. And he said, your friends across the street, they have nobody showing them anything, and you're gonna see how they turn out. So later that night, everybody's in the bed, sleep. I mean, Styles and Styles, Furious and Trey are in the bed, sleep. Okay. And in the middle of the night, some fool tried to coming in and break into the house and calling himself trying to rob them. Well, Trey had gotten up to go to use the bathroom, and Furious gets it, heard somebody, a prowler walking through the house. He gets his piece. And I don't know what type of gun that was, because I'm not a gun person like that, but that thing looked like it might have been a Desert Eagle or something. Okay. All I know is that he put two hot ones in that door where you could see you could see clear through the door, and he almost took that fool's head off, knocked him out his damn shoe. He ran so hard that his damn Chuck Taylor fell off his foot. Okay. So he almost got his head blown off. And I ain't saying nobody deserved to die, but you cannot be coming up in nobody's house and thinking you don't know who gonna have a pow, any type of a pistol or something, or some type of vicious dog in there. You know, I mean, he was bold, real bold. So I mean, he I ain't anybody feeling sorry for him. Um, let me see. I respected that even them being young parents, that they did yes, they did the best for Trey. They did. Yes, they sure did. So now we get this nasty asshole racist cop, because and I'm saying racist because this guy was racist toward his own people. This black cop. The white cop didn't even what the white cop wasn't even a problem. Normally the problem, we always had problems from the white cops, but you got to be careful for the black cops. What Ice Cube say in that song? The black cops showing out for the white cops. And that's exactly what this guy was doing. He was showing off for the white cop. He was what you call a straight up Uncle Tom. Okay, he was an Uncle Tom. He was very nasty. Um, so he just he really just he was like, man, yeah. Too bad you didn't get him. And he said, no, that just would have been, another dead, black man. So no, he didn't want to unalive him or nothing like that. But this guy was as an a-hole. He was a straight up a-hole, and he was rude. Um, like NWA say, F the police, and that's right, right. And NWA is still to this day one of uh my favorite groups. To this day, I still listen to NWA. I still listen to Easy E. When that stuff came out, I was rocking it. I got the albums here. I got physical albums here, LPs, and I also got CDs. I still love my NWA. Still listen to it all the time. It's in my playlist. I still listen to NWA. But I like them because they was raw and they was saying something. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, but yeah, he was trying to teach his son like a lesson, like, and then this guy, somebody, hey, he come up there eating a sandwich. So he didn't even take them. Hey, look how long they sit out there. They sit out there for over an hour waiting on the damn cops. And they just show up whenever they feel like it. Ain't talking about, well, yeah, we ain't got to take no report because, he said, well, did you get him? He said, well, if I did get him, he'd be laying out here in front of on the lawn. And then he, and the black guy was like, you got a problem? And Styles was like, yeah, I got a problem. It's just too bad you don't know what it is, brother. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a coon. He was a straight up tap dancing raccoon for the white man. And those are kind of cops. Those are the ones I hate hate the most. Is these black ones when they stop you for like you got a ticket or whatever, or if you ask them a question or say anything to them, they talk to you disrespectful and rough. And I'm like, why are you treating us like that? But I bet you ain't treating no little white girl like that or no white boy like that. You ain't roughing them up. You ain't putting your knee in their back and all kind of stuff. So yeah, he was just too much, and I couldn't take his black ass. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but he was definitely doing too much, overperforming for the other cop. Right, me too. They opened my eyes about the LA police. Yes, they did. They did. Racism all over every. Yeah, listen, you can be racist. You can be racist towards your own people or a little prejudice. I'm gonna say the word yeah, maybe not racist when it's black on black, but you definitely prejudice because you're prejudging. He's already assuming that probably they some knuckleheads. He don't realize that, this is a hardworking black man. So anyway, forget this dude. We gonna end up seeing this bozo cop again later on. Okay, so then the next day, Trey goes across the street to Doughboy house, and then now we meet the mama. Okay. Brenda, played by what did I say her name was? Tyra Farrell, played by Tyra Farrell. And she she couldn't stand Doughboy. She couldn't stand him. She always, like in the scene right here, she said, you ain't gonna be shit because your daddy wasn't shit. You fat effer. You know what I'm saying? She was cussing him out and just yelling at him. But yet she loves Ricky. Ricky is her everything. Ricky plays ball. And I guess Ricky's daddy she probably was in love with, and maybe Doughboy's daddy, because they got two different daddies. Maybe Doughboy's daddy probably left her and or treated her bad or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't stand mothers who do this, where you treat one son, or it could be whether son or daughter, you treat one child really really bad and degrade them and disrespect them and just ugly toward them, and then another child you praise them and show them love and everything, and you have favoritism. So yeah, Brenda was a whole trip. It I should have put her in the bad mother category, but I'm gonna say I don't want to say she's a horrible mother, but she definitely needed some parenting help. She definitely needed help for parenting. She definitely needed she just needed some type of support. She was ignorant. It was time she was ignorant. You know what I'm saying? You how you gonna love Ricky and love everything about Ricky and want him to go to college and all that kind of stuff, and yet Doughboy, you call him a fat effer, and you ain't S because your daddy ain't S, and come on now, um, putting the kids against one other, yeah, and kept the house divided. Yeah, that's exactly what she did. Um, they mom made it different between them kids. Yeah, because they got different daddies. Yeah, she showed favoritism because they got different daddies. So, and I bet you dope, but even though they didn't go into, they didn't deep dive into this. This is why I said this story is educational, because you can clearly see they ain't even got to give you all the backstory. You can clearly see that obviously Doughboy's daddy probably is some thug dude, or he probably was no good. He might have been abusive. He might have been a number of things. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. But obviously he was no good, and that's why she didn't want to be bothered with him. But yet Ricky's daddy probably was a good dude or whatever, but he wasn't around. But she, who knows what happened. But she came, and then she comes out there talking to Trey, talking about oh you furious boy, huh? Yeah, I heard all that shooting that was going on out there. Um and so, I mean, and did she have a job? Every time you saw her, she walking around with rollers in her hand, smoking her cigarettes, laying across the sofa with the plastic. I know. Did y'all grow up with plastic on y'all furniture? I did. My mother said you could not sit in the living room. Back in the day, you could not sit in the living room, in the front room. The plastic would be on that. And I'm talking about this like in the 70s and the early 80s. You could not sit in the furniture. That was for when company came, like on Christmas or some special occasion. When, and then my mother would take the plastic off. But just on an everyday thing, that plastic was always on that furniture. And I don't know why as black people we did that. You know. And she spoke death over her kids. And that yes, she did. She did. She did speak death over them. She did. So Trey was coming over, across the street because he gonna go later on. He gonna go fishing with his daddy, but he was coming over there to hang with them for a little bit and hang out with his boys before going fishing with his daddy. So they tossing the ball around. You got Ricky and Doughboy and little Chris come around, and they tossing the football around, and then across the street is Brandi as a little girl, and her mama, and she said exactly probably what I would have told my daughter: get your fast ass in the house and stop looking at them little nappy headed boys. Because that would have been me. I'm Brandi. I would have been over there looking at the boys and all up in the boys' face, even at 10 years old. Because back then I was boy crazy. Even at 10 years old. And so Doughboy kept telling his brother Ricky, do not bring that football with you. Leave that football in the house, because once you go outside of their front yard and you walking through the gang neighborhoods, people will try to take your stuff from you. So leave the football at home. But did he listen? No, he go everywhere but that football, because that's the last thing I think they say his daddy gave him. I guess before the daddy died or whatever. So they little Chris went to go take them to go see a dead body. He said, you want to see a dead body? Like, what is this thing about? Remember the first scene when he was staying with his mother, the other little boy wanted to take him to see a dead body or see where somebody got shot. But that's why I'm saying this story, as much as it got like funny scenes in it, and because every day in the hood ain't sad. It's you have a good time, just like on the movie Friday. You know what I'm saying? You do have fun even in the hood. Actually, the best fun is in the hood. And you make up your own fun. You make up your own games. You have a good time when you just out. This is when kids could go outside and play too. I'm not saying bad things didn't happen, because we clearly see some bad things happen here because you got that dead body up there. But kids would go outside and play because there wasn't no video games. 1984, I don't remember no video games being out. We was outside. We was riding bikes. We was playing basketball, football. Um, I mean, any kind of sport. We was outside just playing and double dutch, jumping rope, all kind of stuff, climbing trees or anything. Kids, So let me see what y'all talking about. I bet she took Doughboy money if he get. Yeah, I know she probably did. I bet you she did, and we'll see that probably after in the next scene after this. She probably did especially when he was out there, selling his stuff and doing stuff in the street. He later on he became a crip, so she probably was taking this money. He probably was paying the bills. That mother didn't even work. Off topic, I looked up some of the cast members who are not main. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna talk about that too. Yeah, a lot of the people in here are deceased. Some of they not main characters, but there's a lot of people in here that's deceased. So they go and they see the dead body. So they walking through, and we used to do that, not go see dead bodies, but we walk on the train tracks and all that. Where they walked in and they see they see the gang members out there, the Crips, and one of the guys took his ball. After Doughboy told him don't bring the ball, but one of the guy took his ball. This a-hole wasn't trying to give it back. Doughboy trying to help his brother, because regardless, even though him and Ricky would fight, they still brothers. He tried to defend him to go get the ball. Doughboy gets smacked down to the ground. And he said, "Man, I told you, you stupid. You shouldn't have bought that ball." But anyway, another gang member back in the back, guy with the do-rag, he ended up giving him the ball back. He said he a little man, and he gave him the ball back. So, because he saw that Ricky looked like he was about to cry, so he gave him the ball back. So when Trey gets back with his friends, remember Doughboy said, let's go get told Chris, let's go to the store. And he said, and then Ricky said, you ain't got no money. And he said, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So they was going off to the store, and Trey went to go fishing with his daddy. And so they having a good time. He teaching them about the birds and the bees. And he said that he know where, how, he said he claimed he knew about sex and how a baby, was made. And he was just trying to teach him about responsibility and being a man. He said, I was but 17 years old when when your mother got pregnant. And so and he also told him, do not go in the army. He said the army ain't no place for a black man. Do not go in the army. So he was he was dropping the Jews on his son. And no, I can't stand a bully either. He was dropping the Jews to his son. And it was a nice, father-son activity and outing and everything. So they was having a good time. So they driving back home, and they sitting there listening to music, moving and grooving in the car. And he was like, oh, this is my jam. Soon as they pull up at the house back in the neighborhood, the cops is dragging Doughboy and little Chris out, throwing them in the car. First of all, this shouldn't have happened like that. They shouldn't come and arrest you without your parent being right there with you. Like, she should have been getting in the car with them or something, or following along behind them in the car. But they don't just supposed to take no little kids and the mother, unless the mother just said, here, take them and get them out. She might have said that, for all we know. They didn't show all that. The mother might have said, Brenda might have said, hey, just take this little fat boy and get him out my face. I don't want nothing to do with him. And of course, we don't know where Chris came from, who his peoples was. But I wouldn't let no cops just come and arrest my son without me going right there. I'm like, no, I'm gonna get in the car. He's a minor. I'm getting in the car with y'all, or I'm gonna be in the car right behind the police car. So But anyway, I mean, they ain't show all of that. And so they, Ricky didn't get involved in any of this, but he said, they they got arrested for stealing candy. So apparently we gonna get a 7 year time jump. So apparently we saw Doughboy and Chris get arrested, and apparently he had been in and out, in and out, in and out over the like, cause some people were saying, why was I remember over the years I've heard people say, don't nobody get 7 years, don't no kid get 7 years for stealing candy. Well, it wasn't that. He had been in and out of juvenile detention centers, and then by the time he got a little bit older, he was going to straight prison, and he became a Crip. So that's when we get this 7 year time jump. So it wasn't that he went to jail at or went to juvenile, whatever, at 10 years old. This was like back and forward, over, in and out of, the prison system, um for the past 7 years. So we got a 7 year time jump. And so Doughboy now is a Crip, and also a high school dropout, a drug dealer, and he was just released from prison because, like I say, he's been in and out, in and out, in and out. So we had never really seen Doughboy that much in the past 7 years, because every time he get out, he go right back in. So the mother, Brenda, was giving him a homecoming party, but now Chris is now the one they used to call Little Chris. Now he a paraplegic from a gunshot wound, and the guy who plays Chris, older Chris, he actually is a real paraplegic in real life. He actually is from the hood around there, and and he was a paraplegic, or still is. I don't think he's passed away, I don't believe, but he, in real life he's a paraplegic, and he all too well know this life. So this was a perfect role for him, because this was pretty much his life, so he was real good with that wheelchair. I mean, he can roll around in the streets real fast with that in that way, and they looked out for him. And then also he had fellow Crips, Dookie and Monster. So now they got two new people in the fold, and both Dookie and Monster, the real life Dookie and Monster, are passed away. Both tragically died. They were really in the life and doing the BS in real life, and so. But apparently, these were actually friends of John Singleton, from what I read of interviews I heard John Singleton say. They were actually friends of his. He knew these guys and said, "Look, I want you to do my movie." So that's how they got into the movie. But they were also fellow Crips of Doughboy. Probably met him while he was in prison. You know everything. But Ricky now at this point, him and the girlfriend, I don't forgot her name. They done got a dang on baby now. Oh, the girlfriend name was Shanice. They got a little toddler. Um, so he's 17 years old, 18 years old, and he wasn't wearing no strap. So this is what happened. When he wasn't wearing no Jimmy hat. So then he got a little baby, but so so Trey then comes into the party, and Brenda tells him, said, "Look, go over there and talk." And his name, Doughboy's real name is Darian. Go over there and talk to Doughboy, and or talk. Well, she said Darian. Go over there and talk to Darian, and try to put some sense up into him. You know, how like you are going to school, and he was working at the mall, going to school. He was getting ready. He was preparing to go to college. So him and Doughboy embraced, because remember now, back in the day, they used to be the best of friends. But then later on, Ricky became the best friend because he was always in and out of prison. So, Trey was, dressing all fly, because he working at the mall, so he got on his slack. And this is back in the day when men actually wore slacks and button up shirts and hard shoes when you go, going out to look nice. Now these dudes be pants sag, the jeans sagging off their butt, or the sweat pants is hanging down, hanging off their butt. They don't even try to dress up nice. Not that the young kids. Not too many of them. They be looking sloppy now. So let's see what else happened at this party. So they was out there jamming. The music was going. This was a good old backyard, uh, black cookout. You know what I'm saying? A black barbecue, and they was getting it in. Music going, people out there, everybody dancing, moving, grooving. They eating ribs. That's my type of carrying on, and they playing cards and dominoes and everything. So wow, Doughboy, I keep wanting to say Ice Cube. It's almost on the tip of my tongue. I keep wanting to say Ice Cube, and I meant Doughboy. Doughboy is out there playing dominoes, and and Trey is trying to talk to him, saying, "Man, yeah, you done got all buffed up," and he said, "Yeah, maybe you can stay out of prison there at this time. Hopefully, you home for good." And now we find out that Trey is also dating Brandi. They knew each other since they was 10 years old, but now they actually girlfriend boyfriend, and played by Nia Long. Nia Long it was beautiful then. She's beautiful now. She's just a beautiful lady. Um. Okay, and then we got So and then we got Yo Yo over here in the corner here. She just one of the homegirls from the neighborhood. And then you got Regina King, okay, and she in here, and she the sassy, round the way girl, okay. She's the sassy around the way girl that that everybody know a girl like this. You know what I'm saying? The girl that she quick on her feet. She got something slick to say. She probably one of them girls that can hang with the guys, hang with the fellas. Um, because I don't think she was dating any of the fellas. She was just one of the round the way home girls that hung with the guys all the time, drinking 40s and smoking and hanging. So I knew plenty of women like this too. So the girls all sitting around talking, instead of getting up dancing and being with the men, they all sitting around gossiping, talking, and the fellas looking at them, and they was like, "Oh, who is that?" And she said, "Oh, that's Ricky." Shanice said, that's Trey. That's Ricky's, best friend. That's his childhood friend." And she said, "Is he dating anybody?" She said, "Oh, yes, he dating me." So she said, "You better watch him, girl." So it looked like it was a little tension that, I don't like that old catty stuff. I never like catty stuff with girls like that. I'd rather hang with fellas, because I don't get that with fellas. Fellas, I could just be myself. We can laugh and cut up, talk shit and whatever. But the women, you feel like you always got to compete. You always got to keep yourself together all the time. They talk about you if you don't look a certain way. I ain't got time for that catty stuff. I didn't like it when I was a young girl, and I don't like it as an adult. Um, hey, men look like men. But yeah, and yes, back then men looked like men. This was 1984, and well, 7 years later, so 19, later on, it was, yeah, we're time jump now, but this was the 80s and 90s. Men did look like men, acted like men, and they had pride in themselves. You know what I'm saying? Not all of them, because we clearly see Doughboy, Monster, and Dookie don't, but there's a lot of them that do. A lot of them that did it. So yeah, Virginia King was funny. She played the hell out that role, because I was shocked when I remember going to the theater to see this movie when it first came out, and I'm like, "Daggone!" She went from playing Brenda on 227, and then next thing I know, she up in this piece, and I was like, "Oh, okay." It was a total different change from her playing Brenda. on 227. So Trey been there at the party, everybody moving, grooving, eating barbecue chicken, ribs, spare ribs, a whole, tater salad, everything. And they having a good old time, listening to music, jamming, they everybody having fun. And then there's time to go home. Well, he lived right across the street. So he had a plate he was gonna bring home to his dad. And then he see a baby in the middle of the street crawling around the street. And so he told this car, yo, hold up. Just, and he had to get the baby, and he knew exactly who the baby belonged to. He goes and bang on this crackhead door and bring her baby. And he said, keep the baby out the street and change her diaper and everything. And she gonna sit there and talk about, um, you got some blow, you got this and that. I'll suck your I'll suck your eggplant, your man muscle. And I was like, this lady here, but that's the power of crack. Crack was so bad for our communities that this is what happened. That you would take a beautiful woman, and once she get a little bit of that crack in her system, the next thing you know, she turns out like this lady, and the house falling apart and looking like a trap house, and she not caring for her kids. So there was people who was selling their children, just getting rid of their kid just so they can get that blow. That stuff is a powerful drug, man. Powerful. Okay. And that's a whole that's a whole different conversation for another day. But anyway, so we got this fool here. I can't remember his name right offhand, but let me say in my notes that I write this guy's name down. I didn't write his name, but this guy here is, look, I would say rest in peace, but I can't say rest in peace. He was no good even in real life. He died in real life. He got taken out in prison, but he was a blood in real life, and he went to prison. He got involved with some gang stuff up in the prison, and one thing led to another. I mean, there's more to the story, and I know about the story, but I'm not going all through that right now. But one thing led to another, and while he was in prison in real life, now I ain't talking about the movie, real life, he got taken out himself. So this dude, and look, when we found out he died, I was like, well, that's for Ricky, even though Ricky is not a real person, but I'm sure he killed some real Rickies in real life. This dude was not a good dude. Yeah. Every time he played in movies, he was a monster, so because he did a couple of movies. But outside of this one, he did. I think he was in Poetic Justice, and he was in something else. But he played a couple of movies. But yeah, in real life, he got taken out too. So I ain't gonna say rest in peace because he wasn't a good dude. But he gonna stick a double barrel shotgun up in somebody's face, man. I probably would have pissed myself. You know what I'm saying? That's just scary. Hey, Lawrence Report. Yes, I love Boys in the Hood. Look, I like all the urban movies. I've already done all the Tupac movies. Okay. Y'all can go back in my history on my YouTube page. I did all the Tupac movies, Above the Rim, Juice, Poetic Justice, Gang Related. Only one I didn't do was Bullet because I cannot find Bullet on streaming. That's the only one of Tupac's movies I didn't do. But I did all the Tupac ones last year. I did I did say Juice already, right? I did New Jack City. I did quite a few. I think I even have my list here. Yeah. I did Players Club, American Gangster, Love Jones. I mean, I did a hard Menace to Society. I did Fresh. Yeah, so y'all had to give me some other movies that I need to review and recap. There's tons. So y'all give me some ideas. And maybe once a month on a Friday or Saturday night, I'll do, another, more movie recaps. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite. Yeah, me too. I'd rather hang with the fellas than to hang a whole bunch of women. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes women can be catty. Even in my big grown age, they act like that. After he played in that movie, it definitely went to his head. Oh, House Party. We did do House Party. a year or so. I think last year. Yeah, it was early last year. I did House Party. Let me see. I Scarface, Dream Girls, Five Heartbeats. These are all the movies we did, or that some of them I did solo. Some of them I did as a group with other people. Um, we did some old black exploitation movies too, across 110th Street, Piece of the Action, Uptown Saturday Night. We did a bunch of. It's been a bunch of them. I got to get back to doing my movies. You know what I'm saying? So I just haven't done. There's still more to do. You know, there's still more to do. So oh, I have that on DVD, and I know it's also on streaming. That might be a good. You talking about the Petey Green story? Yeah, I might do that one. That's a good one too. That's a good one. Yes, very good one. Yeah. Um. So anyway, this guy, they just wanted to scare Trey, and it worked. You know. So anyway, Trey brings the plate home to his dad. Dad was sitting here, working, smoking his cigarettes, and he said, I know you ain't bring me no swine. And he said, oh yeah, Brenda, she still know how to throw down with the barbecue. He had the baked beans and since he ain't want no swine, it probably was barbecue chicken and beef ribs. That's what it looked like it was. So Trey asked his dad to, to give him a little shape up. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know who the barber was on the set of this movie, but they did a horrible job because Cuba Gooding Jr.'s haircut was horrible, and he had no type of shape up, no hairline. It looked a mess. It was real raggedy. So they must have a budget for a barber on the set. Everybody came, I guess, and did their own hair and makeup because the makeup on here wasn't good either for the ladies, you know. So I think they was doing their own thing, and that's how it is when it's the budget is low, so you can't do all that stuff. But anyway, he told us he asked his father for a shape up, and then he started talking to him about, wanting to have a conversation about sex and all this stuff, right? So he makes up this whole story. And at the time, we didn't know he was making it up, but he made up this whole story talking about how he met this broad, and this lady here, she used to be a soul train dancer back in the day, and this lady in real life, she also got busted for smuggling um crack cocaine and trying to get through the airport. Okay, so it's a lot of stuff that happened to a lot of these people in this movie. She used to be a former soul train dancer back in the day, and then later on she started getting. I think she was like a mule for somebody, and she was transporting drugs back and forth, and she got busted. So I think she got busted at the airport or something. So I don't know what happened to her after that. I think her name was like Lynette or something like that. I think it's something like that. Um, but anyway, and you see that Volkswagen Beetle that Trey Styles has. I remember one of my sisters had a Volkswagen Beetle. Like my older sister had one. Um, so she's talking about, oh, I want to ride the car. I want to ride. Is this stick? I want to ride it and all that. She was talking all sexual up in his face, but all along, the way he was explaining the story to us, and when you first see the movie for the first time, and he's explaining the story, you think, oh, he telling this like it really happened, right? All along, ain't none of this happened. But anyway, he made up the story that he met this chick, and then the next day when her grandma and mama was gone to church, that he came up in there knocking boots with the girl, um and all of that kind of stuff. But then the grandmother showed up, and you know the grandmother showed up, and he had to jump out the window and run out of there and all that. By the time the grandmother part came, I said, okay, this got to be fake. But I don't know why he lied to his father, because like it's not like the father asked him, hey, hey, you been with somebody, or what's the girl's name, or the father didn't ask him, and he volunteered all this information. So I don't know why he lied to the father instead of just saying, yeah, I'm a virgin and I haven't done anything. I think he like 17 or 18 at this point. So it's not a big deal. When the father was trying to tell him that you need to make sure you're responsible and wear protection. Where's the protection that I gave you? You need to be using it. Because he said, oh no, I ain't used no protection. Um, and the father was like, I mean, are you stupid? So he just made up this whole, but he made up the whole story. So he was telling his homeboy, Ricky, how he lied to his father about having sex. And Ricky was like, oh, you ain't never did it before? I mean, don't tell me you still a virgin. And he said, no, man, I just ain't never want to, I ain't want to end up having no babies. And Ricky was like, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I mean, Ricky pretty much got a live-in wife because the girlfriend Shanice and the baby's there 24 hours a day. So he got like a live-in girlfriend. Yeah, so Trey is doing the right thing. One, I don't know why you lied to your father because you didn't need to lie. But however, you didn't have to lie, but you just volunteering information that nobody asked you, you know. But he's also smart too at the same time. Is like he's taking his time and making sure that he don't become a teenage father like Ricky did. So this part now is a funny scene because at the time Ice Cube had just left NWA and he was beefing with Easy E and Jerry Heller, that racist. And at the time they was, it was no Vaseline came out, and they was calling him a Benedict Arnold, and they was going at Ice Cube hard, and Ice Cube was going at them hard, and they was beefing back and forth. And it was, it was real ugly at that time. This was, this was long. This was a early, this long before, you know, no Kendrick, no Drake. They wasn't even in existence. Okay, we didn't even know who these people were. Okay, they wasn't even born actually when all this was going down. So it's funny how they had this crackhead come down the street with this sweatshirt on, talking about we won easy. And Dookie sitting there sucking on a pacifier, which I never understood what that was about. When I back in the day, dudes was doing that, I ain't that must definitely have been an LA thing, because I don't remember no dudes here in the DC area doing no stuff like that, sucking on no damn pacifier and baby bottles and stuff. So that definitely must have been like a Southern thing or a LA thing. But anyway, he walks by and he snatches Dookie's chain off his neck. Man, they beat the dog mess out that dude. He looked like a crackhead anyway. He was gonna take that chain, sell it, and get some crack. Man, they kicked his butt. They stomped him down to the ground, picked up the trash cans, dumped it on top of him. Like, you don't be doing no stuff like that. And it was just funny how they used the "we went easy," So that was a little funny scene. So you're reviewing segments of the movie scene by scene. Um, yes, Water Sniper X, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm reviewing segments of the movie scene by scene. Trying to stay in order, but I may jump around a little bit, but I'm trying to stay in order. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Thanks for stopping through. I hope you like it. If you don't, I understand. But you know, thanks for stopping through. This was before Pac and Big. Yeah, this definitely was before that. Yeah, definitely. This was one of the first big beefs. Well, it wasn't the first beef. Now, let me take that back. No, because I know about beefs even way before that. But yeah, this definitely this um this definitely was way before that time. That shirt was funny, yes. And I got that. I still got that Easy album. I actually got. I'm looking at it right over here on my to my side of me, my record player with all my albums. I got that Easy album, which I love that album. Okay, I didn't want to jump around to certain scenes and mess up the. Oh no, you're not messing up the flow. I mean, I do have things somewhat in order, but Look, we just free flow it up in here. That's what we do over here. But yeah, I am somewhat going in order. So after that, the crackheads snatched the chain, they beat him up. Then Ricky was playing was practicing football. And while he was doing that, um what's his name, Trey and Brandi, they going back and forth. And she said, "Look, you ain't been answering my calls. You've been ignoring me. Um, what's going on with that?" And he was just like, she said, I'm not. She went to Catholic school, so she didn't go to school with him. And he said, Catholic girls are supposed to be the biggest freaks, which back in the day, they were. Okay. I didn't go to Catholic school, but the girls I knew that went to Catholic school, and they was getting it in with all the guys in the neighborhood. All the guys. Okay. Um, then he was like, "Well, we gonna get married." So at this point, they hadn't even graduated high school. They was gonna go off to college, but they talking about, they gonna get married. You don't know whether that you gonna marry your high school sweetheart. Some people do and still together and live happily ever after, but a lot of people do not. So whoever you telling, and when you're in high school and you telling somebody, "I love you and you love me," and we holding hands, and more than likely that's just for a moment in time. You are not going to marry them, and so that's why don't get serious while you in high school. Okay, do not get serious. If it's meant to be, then y'all meet up down the road. But don't get, but everybody in this chat ain't no high school age. But make sure y'all kids don't be talking about getting married when they 17, 18 years old. They too young for that. Trey was so lame trying to oh yeah, he was trying to he was trying. Okay. This is what boys do. He was a horny boy. I ain't gonna say he did nothing wrong, because he didn't like try to attack her and make her do something, but he was trying to messing with her head. It's like, "Oh, come on, we're gonna get married, so we might as well do something." Listen, boy's gonna try. Okay. He's a horny teenage boy. He gonna try. Raging hormones. Okay. So while all that's going on, okay, so after that scene, he came back home. He was on the phone talking to Brandi, still on the phone for a few hours talking to Brandi. And then, just back when they had the on the landline phone, when you had the two-way calling, the three-way call and stuff, and his mother called in on the phone, and he talking about who it is. He said, "It's your mother." But anyway, she was upset because he didn't look like the mother doing good, man. Look like she got a nice little penthouse apartment or some kind of situation. It looked, I don't know if she's in an apartment or house, but she looked, I mean, her furniture and everything looked like it was upgraded. She definitely ain't in South Central no more, which the little place she was. She done got her degrees now. So, and if you look at Furious house is upgraded from when he first got there at 10 years old, and the house was dirty and tore up. And now, obviously, he doing better too. Paint on the walls are painted, the carpet look new, the sofa look new. So plants over in the corner. So look like everything is going better. So, but she wants to know why you didn't come over and see me. And he was like, "Oh, I was cool with Rick and my friends." She said, "You can cool with Rick and your friends anytime. The weekends is supposed to be my time." So she said, "Put your father on the phone." Then she wanted to get into it with him. And you can't make him, at this point now, he's 17 years old. So you can't make him come and stay with you. You know what I'm saying? So they had a little disagreement about that. So that was that on that. So while Trey was dealing with that mess at his house, across the street, they see, you got Doughboy and the crew up on the porch, and they see a car creeping with lights. You never know if it's gonna be a drive-by. So, that's not always a good thing. So I'm sure they was on edge and had their piece ready. But turns out this was the recruiter, trying to recruit Ricky to go to, what was it, USC, right? I think I'll go to USC. And so, but he had to take the SAT. So, and then Brenda was on her best behavior. All that talking she was doing about Doughboy. When she told Doughboy and Shanice, she was like, get up off that sofa. And what did Shanice do with herself? Like, what she do? See, she really didn't have that much of a role. So we don't know whether or not if she was doing anything with her life. I mean, she had the little baby. And Doughboy wasn't doing nothing with his life, sitting there drinking 40 and selling crack and gangbanging. But Brenda cleaned up, made lemonade, and trying to, portray like she's a good mother. But she seemed like she's a good mother to Ricky, but to Doughboy, she just gave up on him. And the recruiter man, he came in there and he told his name was Lewis Crump. And from USC, University of Southern California. He was a recruiter, and he instructs Ricky that he needs to obtain an SAT score of 700 and or above to qualify for a football scholarship. And Trey, he's already gonna go to college, and Brandi, she's also gonna go to college. So, like I said earlier, Brandi said she wants to wait until she is till she married before she have sex. But that don't last long. When you're a teenager and your hormones is going crazy, that ain't gonna last long. Hopefully they just protecting themselves and doing the right thing. So Ricky seemed like he a little nervous about having to take the essay. He had his GPA was like a 2.3 or something. He probably was eligible because that's like a C average, right? He probably is eligible to play football, but it's really low for college. It's really low for college. But most of the time, these football players, they don't really care about them getting no education. They just want them to go play football for the school. So they went to go take the SAT. They went to take the SAT, and Brandi was also there taking the SAT, and so was Shanice there taking the SAT. And at this point, I wasn't positive that Ricky would pull it out. That he would do a good job at this. I wasn't positive. We know later on, not to jump the gun, but everybody done seen it. We know that he does end up getting over a 700. He got like 740 or something, but he needs a minimum of 700 to get a football scholarship. Look, to get 700, all he got to do is put your damn name and information on the paper. I mean, get 700. That's easy to get. Brenda was looking for a man. That's probably why she came in there with that mini skirt on and pouring lemonade. She probably was flirting for that man. Furious house looked totally because he upgraded. It looked much better. Much better. So they took the SAT, and after the SAT, they go to Furious's job. And he's like a real estate, he's like a real estate agent or a broker. And he, flips homes and things like that. So he wanted to take them over to Compton so he can show them about gentrification, teach them about gentrification. He said, why is it that, and this is a good lesson right here. I was just talking about this to my play brother, my play sister last week when we were together. And we was talking about how certain neighborhoods, there are no fresh markets, like, grocery stores or markets. Some neighborhoods, all you see is liquor stores everywhere. Just now dispensaries popping up everywhere. Also, a chicken spot, some type of carry out where you can get a sandwich, a pizza, and that type of thing. Always something for chicken or a barbecue spot. It's never something. It's all negative stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that because it's all like bad foods. and liquor stores on every other corner. Um, just they always do this in the hood. They always do this in every neighborhood all across the United States of America. You know, and he was just telling them that they don't do this up in the white neighborhoods like in Beverly Hills and Brentwood and all that. They have, nice restaurants, nice homes, nice grocery stores, and but why in the hood is they tried to bring the property values down of the neighborhood. So he was just trying to school the boys, but then people from across the street, and then of course you got the old man Grady from Sanford the Son. He just came out of nowhere. He popped up. He came out of nowhere, and he was like, all this gang banging and tearing down y'all neighborhood. Y'all just making it easy for them to come in and buy up all the neighborhood and gentrify it. And that's definitely what happened in my hometown of DC, Prince George's County. And then also it's happening in Baltimore as well too, because I live between DC and Baltimore. So we see it in both. But gentrification is real, and it's in every neighborhood, every urban neighborhood, in every major city, in every state in the United States of America. You know, no whole food. Yeah, they food deserts. Exactly. Thank you. You know exactly what I was saying. You'll see like carryouts, like in New York, they call them bodegas, but or little corner stores. Some areas, some place call them corner store. It just yeah, Shady Grady. Yeah, Grady just popped out of nowhere. He wasn't even part of the. Probably wasn't even part of the movie, and he just walked down the street and just popped up. Didn't even know what was going on. But yeah, it's everywhere. So it's horrible. But this was a great lesson. This was a great lesson. That's why I said this movie got so many gems. Like you could actually teach a class and break down every scene and actually study it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of gems in here, a lot of lessons to be learned. This movie and also Menace to Society, a lot of lessons to be learned. So later on, they teenagers, so they hanging out. You know how you hang out. We have areas. We had areas in DC like this where you just go, everybody hanging out, riding their cars up and down the street, showing off. You know, eating, laughing, talking, slapping five. Everybody got these little areas like this where it's like the hangout area, hangout spots. And so they hanging all up and down Crenshaw. It was like Crenshaw Boulevard or whatever it's called. And Ricky is always eating. Like he always got some chips, some popcorn, some cookies, some fruit. He's always eating. And he was like, where y'all? And so Doughboy and the crew was like, where y'all been? And said, man, we was up in Compton. We was with Dad. And he was really teaching us, and schooling us on things. And Doughboy and his crew, they sitting there talking about God and all kind of stuff, But as all of this going on, they having a good time and hanging out on probably a Friday, Saturday night. This dude, Ferris. I'm sorry, Ferris. He's a blood. He from a rival blood gang. He bumps real hard into Ricky and provoked him, try to get a confident, not just bump him. He damn near knocked him down, like damn near knocked his shoulder off, and that's when Doughboy even though him and his brother don't always get along, but he always protect his brother, and he say, "Man, we got a problem here. We got a problem here." So Doughboy flashing his handgun, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got a problem here. What's going on? And then we got this girl here said, can we just one time get together and have a good time without nobody getting hurt, nobody getting shot? He said, bitch, shut the hell up. So she should have had mind her business. She ain't had nothing to do with it, and leave that between the men. And so Ferris, why I keep saying Ferris? Ferris, the blood guy, the blood gang member, he goes to the trunk of his car, get an automatic weapon, and started pop, 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 in the air. Okay. Hey, support, what's going on? Support gaming always showing me support. I heard some people blame Doughboy for what happened to Ricky when Ferris started the whole thing for nothing. No, well, what? Okay, is this just what you believe, or you saying this is what people saying? What do you believe, support gaming? Because I think the people who are saying this is crazy. It's not Doughboy's fault what happened to Ricky. It's not his fault. I mean, their little thing was between two brothers. I mean, no, it's not his fault. I mean, you talking about because Doughboy pulled up the handgun and talking about we got a problem here, we got a problem here. It's his Ferris fault. It's his Ferris fault. Not Doughboy. No, Doughboy is doing what you would be doing, support gaming. If you was into the street and all that kind of stuff, and you got your piece with you, and you got your little brother out there, you would protect him. This is what you're supposed to do. I don't care if it's two girls. If you got the big sister and the little sister, the big sister is supposed to protect you. Okay. So, and this light is killing my eyes. And in the hood, when a dude like Doughboy out just fresh out of prison, they knew they knew who he was with all. Yeah, they knew he was with all the smoke. Yeah, right. I know I was messing up your statement. Yeah, he was. He fresh out of prison. He ain't got nothing going on in his life. Okay, like it ain't nothing for him to, because he been in and it said it. He remember at the welcome home party. They said he been for the past 7 years. That's why we had a time jump 7 years later. For the past 7 years, Doughboy was in and out, in and out, in and out. Now he became a Crip. So he had nothing to lose. And so he didn't care nothing about taking Ferris out. Ferris was a hater, and he started all this ish. Right. It's his fault. Now he met his match. Right. And he thought we gonna get there. We roll along. We're gonna be wrapping this up. So and I'm sure all of y'all have heard the backstory on this behind the scenes stuff. I was just watching an old interview with Ice Cube the other day, last night actually, and he talked about that he didn't know it was going to be real gunshots out there, but John Singleton and them had a real automatic weapon, and he said everybody went running. They thought it was real shooting and stuff going out there. He said because not only was the people who supposed to be in the movie there, but you had outsiders who wasn't in the movie who was just hanging around. So a lot of these extra people were people who were just hanging out. And so everybody, they thought it was some real drive-by stuff going on. So that could have went all the way left, but it made the movie good. This was probably one of the, great scenes in this movie. So they knew Ricky had a future and potential to do better, and all of them. Yeah, I mean, all them Bloods was jealous for sure. They was jealous of Ricky and Trey. Yeah, people are really like that. That scene was real with the gun. Ice Cube. I was just as you was typing that, Miss Niecy, I was saying the same thing. That I was just watching an old clip with an old interview Ice Cube did maybe a couple years ago, and I was just watching on YouTube last night, and he was saying that how that was a real scene with the gun, but he said, but they didn't know it. He thought it was supposed to be like a fake gun going off, and they was going to pretend like it was real, but it actually was a real gun. John Singleton did that on purpose because he wanted a real reaction. So, and it worked. It's one of the best scenes in the movie. Yeah, somebody's foot and leg almost got ran over. Yeah, all of them did. They got about it, but it made the scene, and it made this scene here, all of this good too. So Ricky and Trey, they got up out of there, and all of a sudden now they give pulled over by them same damn goofy ass cops again. The white cop ain't really did nothing. He was just standing there. He really wasn't doing nothing. It was this black cop. He said, "Oh, you think you tough? What you want them Crenshaw Mafia dudes and all that?" I mean, he was just doing way too much. He was doing way too much. I was not feeling him. I couldn't stand his. Oh, his name is Okay, let me see on my notes. Trey and Ricky, as they was fleeing to get away, they got pulled over by Officer Coffee. So his name was Officer Coffee. I was gonna say something. I'm a I'm gonna be nice, but he, once again, he harasses them and intimidates them. Trey later, and then Trey is crying. He's upset because he's like, I'm tired of this. Every time he turn around, the cops is harassing us, bullets flying everywhere. I got to get up out of here. He was tired of it. So he goes to, retreats over to Brandi's house, and he just started wilding. He started, um, he just had a breakdown and start swinging in the air. I'm so tired of this shit, and started swinging. And a lot of people laugh at that scene, but I understand the frustration he had. Like, he was like, I'm so tired of this, and he started swinging everywhere. But I understand, if you always get your guard up all the time, you got to worry about the cops, you got to worry about the gangsters, you got to worry about the getting robbed, the crackheads, anybody. It's a whole lot just to get through your day, just to get to school, get to work. It's probably a lot. And he probably said, I cannot wait to get the hell out of Dodge. I heard the actor that played the cop lost someone close to him due to gang violence and channeled that anger through the character. You know something? I can't stand that man. So that means he did a hell of a job. Support gaming, he did a hell of a job, because he did a great job of me. He did such a good job being an a-hole that I hated him. So that's how I'm saying he did a great job. So the cop gets to see Trey again as a grown man, and he's still on the same ish, right? Let me see a picture of this man. Yeah, because I ain't want to talk about nobody being black, but his lips is jet black. His gums was black. I mean, look, I love a beautiful chocolate skin, but he just looked like burnt. The backstory of a self-hating cop is that he lost his son again. Yeah, but you know something? And I'm sorry for that. If that's what happened in real life, I'm definitely sorry for that. But there are a lot of black cops that just as bad, if not worse, than the white ones. And they love to show off, as Ice Cube says, black cops showing off for the white cop. They love to do that. And he ain't nothing but a coon. He ain't nothing but a raccoon. And he probably up there, probably kissing the white man butt over here, and the white man wasn't doing nothing. He didn't harass them. They seen so much in LA, it was frustrating. Right. I don't even think that the officer even remember who Trey was. It been a long time ago. No, because it was the last time that we saw the interaction with him. Trey was 10 when they came to the house, and this was 7 years later. Trey is 17. So yeah, he probably didn't even remember, because look, he just probably lumped all black kids in one thing. He called all of them. He thought he was a gang member. He was getting ready to kill him. I don't even think. Okay, wait a minute. Bernie Mac played that cop in the. Yes, he did. Yes. And don't be a menace while drinking your juice. I should review that movie. That movie is funny. Hilarious. That's a classic. But I should do it with a panel, because it's be funny with a panel. Let me see. So he goes to Brandi, and he's breaking down, crying. She was like, what's going on here? She looked a little nervous, but she's home alone. And he calmed down, and he claimed I'm crying like a female. No, men can cry. You're not a female for crying. You're not. It doesn't make you soft or weak or sassy or anything because a man cries. You got to get that anger out of you. You gotta express it some kind of way. If not, you're gonna end up being Doughboy and Monster and Dookie. So, but later on, them two. Oh well, wait a minute. I do want to say, they end up getting together. So both of them, she end up. You remember how she said she wanted to wait until marriage? Well, she ain't wait till marriage that night. They end up getting busy. Hopefully they had used protection. They ain't show that, but hopefully they had protection, and she don't end up having no babies. But we ain't see any of that in the movie, so we assumed that everything went fine. But they end up getting busy, and that was her first time and his first time. So it was cute. Look, the first time for a girl ain't always that great. It may be great for the boy. I don't know. I'm not a boy, but for the girls, it's not always great on the first time. But that's another conversation. I have to do it after dark. I haven't done talking dirty after dark in a very long time, maybe over a year or two. So it may be time to do one sometime over the summer. Maybe I do. Oh yeah, it's definitely Ike and Ike and Tita right here, right? It said young black boys like Trey. Yes, yes, yes. You laughing at me, support gaming. So this did look like Ike and Tina Turner right here, but the mother and the father, Reva and um Furious, get together, and they have conversations. He said, "Look, you ain't got to keep on buying him things. He's a grown man now. Well, he ain't a grown man, but he's 17, about to go off to college. You know, you don't have to keep buying him things." She said, "But I'm his mother. Don't I have that right?" He said, "You have that right, but let him do his own thing." And so she said, "Did he tell you that him and Brandi want to go off and get married in college and live together?" And he said, "Yeah, he told me. Don't you think it's a bad idea?" Look, she said, "Look, he got to make his own decisions. You know, I mean, the father's not wrong, but I understand as a mother. See, I ain't had that opportunity to even bounce this information off nobody because mine wasn't, active around. So I had to try to make all the decisions. Some of them I made big mistakes, and some of them some things I didn't. So I like the fact that they can, even though they might go a little toe to toe with each other, but they still great at co-parenting and discussing the issues, and they're not ignorant like Brenda, Doughboy and Ricky mama. So we know the tragic scene is coming up. So Trey hanging up on the front porch as always with the guys, little Chris, Monster Dookie, Doughboy and everything. He coming to get Ricky. They just gonna hang out. And then see uh Ferris. Where they getting these names from? Ferris come riding down the street trying to show off. And also the Regina King character, she's sitting up there too. And they just trying to show off. And he said, "Man, pick little Chris up." So they picked up Chris in his wheelchair, brought him up on the up on the porch, because they didn't know whether or not Ferris was gonna start some stuff. Um, Ricky's story kind of mirrors Furious, when Furious was 17, when he became a father to Trey, went into the army. Ricky is 17 with the baby, thinking of joining the army. Yeah, it's very parallel. And he said the army ain't no place for a black man. I never look. I'm not dogging nobody who might have went to the military. I didn't want that for my son. I didn't want him going to the military. That's one thing I told him when he was young. You don't need to go in the military. If college ain't your thing, you can go to trade. You can go to trade school. You can find something you need to do. Go to work or do something. But I ain't want him going no damn army. I knew it. I knew it wouldn't have been for him. I already knew it, so I didn't try to encourage that for my son. So, but shout out to those that go. I'm not patriotic. I knew I was never going no in no white man's military. I knew I was never gonna go. So I'm not going to do nothing and fighting for this country. But that's a whole nother conversation. I ain't gonna get into that. Um, oh yeah, they still have respect for each other. Yes, the mother and the father. Right, 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 right. So Furious is showing his, showing his behind and trying to speed around the corner and all this kind of showing off. So they just, Doughboy is. I keep wanting to say Ice Cube. Doughboy is on the he got his guards up. He ready. I'm sure he had his piece in his pocket. And so anyway, Shanice told Ricky, he's sitting there looking at the commercial for the US Army. Shanice comes in there talking about, can you go to the store and give me some cornmeal? Because she was gonna fry some fish. And the mama came in there and said, boy, would you go and get the cornmeal for this lady? You should be glad somebody's want to cook for your behind. So she was gonna go in there and fry some fish, but she needed the cornmeal. And I told you, Trey sitting out there, and they trying to get Dookie was trying to give Trey a bottle of OE old English, and he was like, no, I don't want that mess. So look, when I was a teenager, I tried all those different flavors of 40s. None of them is good. They all rock gut. It's not beer. There's a difference between beer and malt liquor. 40s is just some rock gut crap. I went through my little phase as a teenage girl, drinking it with my friends, my homies, and all that. Now as a grown adult. By the time I got to be over 18, maybe over 18 or 19, I definitely wasn't drinking that mess no more. Maybe, at least by 19, I knew I wasn't drinking no more. That was like when I was a teenager. You just sipping it because your friends sipping it and they passing along. No, I won't be drinking that crap. So Ricky gonna come out there and say, a Doughboy, go to the store to get the cornmeal. And he's like, he said no. He said that's your B. She pretty much your wife. She, you got living pee up in here. You got living coochie up in here. He said, so, she told you to go get it. I'm not going to get it. And then next thing you knew, these two started arguing with each other and fighting with each other. And little Chris was like, oh, let them fight. They're brothers. Let them fight. But Trey was like, look, y'all brothers, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to, stop fighting with each other. So Shanice comes outside and tell Brenda, Ricky and Doughboy out here fighting. So then Brenda comes down there and she gets all in the middle of it. She slaps Doughboy up in the face. And he said, what you hit me for? What you hit me for? But Ricky started that. Ricky started that fight. Ricky started that fight. Do y'all agree with me on that? Because Doughboy was out there minding his black business with his friends. And Ricky come out there on the porch talking about go to the store to get some stuff. Now, Doughboy did call the girl a B and all this, kind of stuff. But however, the mother always takes up for Ricky. Even when Ricky wrong, she takes up for him. And she slaps Doughboy up in the face. Coming by, coming by the house was was a big no in Texas. It would be over. Driving by like that. Yeah, no. I never wanted my son to go in the military. I'm glad he graduated from Central State. All right. Shout out to Central State. Beer is disgusting. I like cold beer. Like I like a Heineken. Or I could drink Corona too. I could drink a Corona. But I like a ice cold Heineken every now and then. Like my son mostly drinks beer. And we always keep Heinekens here. Anybody come over here, we always got a cold Heineken in the refrigerator, okay? So I can drink an ice cold Heineken, but I'm not a big beer person. I'd rather drink, wine or actually liquor, but I'm not, but every now and then I can have one or two, Heinekens. If I'm eating my crabs, and I like cold beer when I have crabs. Um, Ricky couldn't do no wrong, right? Trey loved them. Yeah, Trey loved them both equally. Those were both his brothers. They were both his brothers. Yeah. The film in the beginning made it seem like Trey and Doughboy were best friends, and then it became Ricky. Yeah, it did. No, that's the truth. Support. It was Trey and Doughboy. They were the best of friends, or best buds, like that. And but then when it became later Ricky and Trey, because Doughboy went away in and out of prison constantly. So you're right. That is actually true. Yeah, that's actually true. So she slaps Doughboy in the mouth, and he said, "What you hit me for?" And then, of course, we get a cameo with John Singleton in the mailman outfit. He brings her the what you call it, the SAT scores, and he made 740. It was like 740, 750. Let me see if I write it in my I don't have it in my. Oh well, no, 710. I think they said 710. Okay, so so he just barely made it. He needed to get a 700 SAT, and he got 710. Had he not, you know, got taken out of here, he could have got a football scholarship and gone on USC. So they go to the store to get the stuff that Shanice needs. Trey and Ricky go to the store. They walk to the little corner store, and and Ricky always eat. Now I guess because he's an athlete, so maybe he burns off the food anyway. But he eating ding dong donuts or something and drinking milk. Look, that milk alone would have curdled my stomach, but I ain't have no problems when I was a kid. I could drink milk, but now as an adult, I can't drink. I got that lactate. I gotta have lactate free milk now. So, um, but I used to eat all them Twinkies and ding dongs and powdered donuts. I can't eat any of that mess now. But back in the day, we could eat all that stuff, that junk food. So they walking and talking, and he was like, he's sitting there trying to play lottery tickets, and he's talking about, oh, you got to be Mexican to win the lottery, and he was talking. Ricky was talking to Trey about going into the army, and he said, "Ain't no place in army for a black man. That's the white man's army," because he learned all that from his dad. But then so as they walking and talking, this is what friends do. It's what me and my friends used to do. We used to walk to the store, walking and talking, minding our black business. And then okay, now all of a sudden he come furious in that red car because he's a blood. He come riding around that red car, and Trey was like, "Okay, we're gonna have to run." And he said, as soon as we turn this corner, we're gonna run. So they take off and started running. And then they took off and started running. And this is what pissed me off. That Ricky stops to go drain the weasel. And scratching off lot and then walking all slow, scratching off lottery tickets, the scratch off tickets. And then he go drain the weasel. I'm gonna tell you, if somebody was chasing me, especially when I'm that young. When I was young, I could run fast. Now my back and my knees ain't gonna have it now. But when I was that young, I could run a little bit fast. And if somebody was chasing me, I don't care if I got to pee so damn bad that I would just piss all over myself. But I'm going to be running. What the hell I'm gonna stop to go piss, and then he tells Ricky tells Trey, "Oh, these fools ain't gonna do nothing. We should split up." And Ricky and Trey said, "No, man, we should not split up. We stay together, and the two of us together. You know what I'm saying? We could get away from them." But instead, they was climbing the fence, hopping the fence with dogs. And had he listened to Trey, he would have lived. Had Ricky listened to Trey, he would have survived this. But instead, he was adamant that he wanted to walk his own direction. And why would you walk the opposite way? Y'all should stay together. I don't care if I got to hide in someone's shed, in somebody's backyard. I don't care what I would have had to done. But I would not have split up, and I wouldn't have stopped at talking about draining the goddamn weasel. No, you should have just pissed on yourself and kept running. This was the stupidest thing to me. This was so dumb. Is it? Yeah, he was 30. That's what. Mm-hmm. It's like Uncle Marvin. Um, it was at first, but Ricky was his age, and was yeah, right, oh yeah, okay. We was talking about them being best friends, right, right, right. Um, Ricky Ricky was oh yeah, he was dumb and thinking that Ferris wasn't yeah, he thought he was just playing. Oh, no fools ain't gonna do nothing, is what he said. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Ricky was not street smart at all. Doughboy knew when Ferris came back around that second time, he knew he was chasing Ricky, right? He sure did. And this was the dumbest thing he could have did. Y'all, I'm just saying, we saw this coming. I remember going to the movie theater. The movie theater got quiet. I remember this like it was yesterday, 1991. The movie theater got quiet. Um, like you enjoying yourself through the whole movie, and then when this scene here, you could hear a pin drop because everybody knew what was going to happen. People was like, "No, Ricky, don't run the opposite way." Like, and then he ran, and I didn't want to put the picture up here because that picture is rough to seeing his whole, like he had that guy had that double barrel shotgun. So he had like he shot him once, boom, two big holes in the top of his chest. Then another one, boom, another two big holes around the stomach area, blood gushing everywhere. And he tried to warn Ricky. He said, Ricky. Ricky didn't listen. He told him, no, don't, let's stay together. Let's not split up. But Doughboy knew when he saw them swing around again and was racing down the street, he knew it had to be about his brother. He just knew. So the crew, they show up. Even you got Monster, Dookie, even, and Chris was fast in that wheelchair. Like he got down there, he got down there real fast in that wheelchair. And when they got down there, Ricky was gone. He was done. He was killed on impact. It wasn't even no saving his life. He had 4 big holes in his chest and stomach. It was no saving him. There was nothing they could have done. He died on impact. I mean, just when he was about to go to graduate high school and go off to college, this is what always happens. I just heard a bunch of stories in my area here in the DMV when I watch the news. And there's been a few kids who weren't able to graduate because they got killed right before graduation time. They just had a story on our local news about stuff like this. So it's still going on. This crap's still going on. Maybe not in the same way, like a drive-by type of thing like this, but it's still going on. And this wasn't even a drive-by. Like they knew they knew their target. It wasn't like a drive-by that you just shoot any random people. No, they knew their target and they knew exactly who they was going to get. And what did you kill him for? What reason? Ricky did nothing to you. You bumped into Ricky. You damn near tried to knock his shoulder off. Why was y'all so jealous of him? Because he was a star football player? Like, what was the reason? Like, that's what showed that people kill each other over nothing. You don't even have a reason to kill each other. Yes, I cried too when Ricky died. And when I went to go rewatch this recently, because I said, I'm going to recap this movie. I went to watch it. I didn't cry, but I was still shaking my head. That was like, because I've seen this movie 1,001 times. But I just went back recently and rewatched it. And I was like, it's always still a good rewatch. Anytime this movie come on, it's on Tubi. And that's what I was watching on. I was watching on Tubi. But if you see it on TV or whatever, it's still a good rewatch. It's still a good movie to watch. Yeah, here they come with that saxophone. I know that's the saxophone. Yeah. Every time I watch this movie with someone, why didn't he zigzag? Why didn't he just listen to Trey in the first place? And if Ricky wasn't being so smart mouth to his brother, he could have said, man, can you run me down the street to the store to get the cornmeal and whatever it is that the girl needed to fry the fish? The brother would have gave him a ride down there so he wouldn't have walked. And then, mm, mm, mm. The same guy that shot him in real life died a tragic life. Yes, I said that earlier. That guy went to prison. He was into the gang too. He was a blood or whatever, and he was involved in gang mess. He went to prison himself, and due to some prison crap or gang stuff, whatever. I mean, I heard the whole story. I just can't. I just don't have it on top of my head right now. But due to some all the criminal life that he lived, he ended up getting killed in prison. So yeah, he lived a rough life. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't even say rest in peace to him because he wasn't a good guy in real life. So um, this happens here too around graduations and proms. Yes, they had a thing on the news. They was naming people, kids who were supposed to be going to prom or graduating high school or college, and they end up getting gunned down or something happened. You know what I mean? Stabbed, gunned down, and it's always some crap going on. Injury to the leg in the career, fatal blow in the stomach. That thing went through. Yeah, that's right. He also got shot in the leg. He got shot in the in like at least 3-4 bullets, a big old holes and he had a double barrel shotgun. So that's like they like this size, like a damn donut size, like the hole that the father put through that door in your chest, in your stomach. He died on impact. It was nothing helping him. Fear just wasn't an excuse to take a life. Yes, I agree 1000%. I agree with all the comments y'all said. So we just about at the end of this, and we wrap it on up. So they bring they pick up Ricky. Of course they didn't leave him there or call 911 or anything. They bring him to the house. He is covered in blood. This shout out to Morris Chestnut for playing this role. He did the damn thing with this, okay? And Cuba Gooding for the emotion that he gave to this role too. They did the damn thing. And I do want to say, just on a vanity thing, support gaming, I love an Impala. Impalas are my old school cars that I love. I love this gold colored Impala that the Doughboy was riding around in. Okay. So they bring him to the house covered in blood, and the mother automatically believes that or thinks that Doughboy has something to do with Shanice and the baby screaming and calling, crying, blood all over her sofa. Why would you bring him in the house instead of, well, they ain't had no cell phones back then, but I mean, or just leaving them outside. I don't know, leave them outside, but they, blood all in the house. But yeah, it was just a mess. It was just a mess. She said, what is going on? All she did was lay around all the time. This lady ain't had no damn job. I mean, so she said, what is all this noise? Why are y'all out here screaming? What are y'all doing? And she just once again made an assumption that Doughboy did something, and she started beating the dog mess out of him. She really hit Ice Cube hard. This actress, Tyra Farrell, she beat the dog mess out of Ice Cube. Okay, and I'm saying Ice Cube because he's the actor playing the role. So she was hitting him and punching him. I mean, and I'm sure that they rehearsed it, and I'm sure it didn't hurt him. But she knocked his hat off his head. She damn near knocked his jerry curl off his head. Okay. And this actress, Tara Farrell, I don't see her a whole lot, but she can act her behind off. So anyway, so Brenda was being held back by Trey. And it's just an emotional scene. I can imagine if somebody drags my son into my home right now and he covered in blood and he's dead and all that, I would be going off too. I would be screaming, hollering. I wouldn't know how to act. I don't know what I'm gonna do because it hasn't happened to me. And I'm saying shout out to those mothers and fathers who have lost their children. I don't know how that feels. I'm sure that's a devastating feeling. No matter how trifling Brenda might have been, that's still her child. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, she's going to end up losing 2 kids. So this lady really gonna be crazy. I mean, if we saw a part two to this, we would have to see how she turned out because she might end up. She might have been one of the ones that turned on drugs. She might end up turning on drugs because I mean, you lost your both your sons due to gun violence. So, uh, Trey tells Doughboy, meet me out front in a few minutes. He's covered in blood. Brandi was like, what's going on? Trey, talk to me. What happened to Ricky? What happened to Ricky? She telling, then Furious happened to pull up at the same time, coming in from work. He said, what's going on? She said, I don't know. Trey won't talk to me. Something bad happened to Ricky. He covered in blood. He came in the house so he can get his daddy's gun. Okay. It's a poor game. Do you know anything about guns? What type of gun is this? But I just know this gun looked like something Clint Eastwood would be having. Okay, and you ready to put a hole in somebody's backside. But he came in there, and and the father was like, "Look, I can't lose you to no BS. You my only son. I'm sorry what happened to Ricky, but you my only son, and I can't lose you to no BS. You go in there and clean up." And go lay down and rest. Where he goes and sneaks out the window, and he goes and get in the car with Doughboy and the gang, and Furious is furious. Okay, he's scared, he's mad, he's upset, and they riding around for hours and hours and hours looking for this Furious dude, and he looking for any of them dudes in that gang, and they haven't been able to find him. And finally, something happened in Trey that woke him up, and he said, "Doe, pull over, let me out." And then Doe didn't answer him at first. Then he told him again, "Let me out." And then Doughboy didn't even hesitate. He didn't get upset. Some people would get upset and call him soft and call him weak or something, but he knew that Trey wasn't down for this. I mean, just not who he was. And they let him out, but Monster and Dookie, they down for it. And they went out, continued to go look for Furious. Oh, it was a revolver. Okay. I ain't know, but it looked like it could do some damage. That's for damn sure. I don't think she would have cared about Doughboy losing his life with how she was dogging. Yeah, you're right. Cause she look at the beginning. I don't know how much you heard this before you came into the comments. I said at the beginning that she remember when she called him. She said, "You ain't shit," because this is when they was 10 years old. "You ain't shit because your daddy ain't shit." She called him a fat effer and all that. She didn't care nothing about him. So you're right. She might not have cried. She might not have cried if when Doughboy got taken out of here. She might not have. The one guy from Doughboy crew with the ring, he died. Yeah, some street BS. Yeah, but he was involved in the street stuff. Yeah, and it was they were street racing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Monster gone too. All of them gone. All of them gone. But they did a wonderful job. They did a wonderful job playing these roles. And they were real street guys. They were real street. These were John Singleton's. Like these are people he knew. These were friends of his. That's what he said. I like her when she played in Poetic Justice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, she was good in Poetic Justice. Yeah. She was sassy. She worked at the hair salon. She was the owner of the hair salon. Yeah, and real sexy. Yes. That that make anybody lose their mind. If it happen, I don't want nothing to happen to my child. I don't want nothing to happen to y'all's children. But I'm gonna tell y'all that I'm sure that's a club none of us want to be in. To lose our children, have to bury our children, especially to gang violence, any kind of gun violence, any kind of thing like this. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I said that. Okay. Man, I cried when Doe. Yes, yeah, I did too. But we knew what Doe was going to do. I mean, and Doe knew he wasn't about that life. So, um, In Flint, oh my God, outside the house with 200 rounds. Oh my God. See, that's what I'm saying. It's stuff still going on to this day. Well, anyway, he let him out the house. Out the house. He let him out the car and let him out at a bus stop. So I guess he either caught the bus home, full covered in all that blood, or he walked home. But they finally found these clowns at the little burger stand eating burgers and fries. And he talking about, man, these my fries, and with that old nasty dripping ass Jerry curl. And Monster was like, um, Monster's like, oh, there go them fools, hit them lights. And they started blasting Monster and Doughboy. Monster had that machine gun, and he just started. And then when Ice Cube, I keep wanting to say Ice Cube, Doughboy gets out the car and he goes up and blasts. You know, he wanted to make sure all them dudes. He wanted to make sure Ferris was dudes. Ferris was still crawling, like he got hit in the legs or something, but he could still crawl. And he said, turn your punk ass over. And then he got his piece and he was like, pow, 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 pow. He wanted to make sure he was gone. And Monster was like, man, if you don't hurry up, I'm still on parole. Ain't this about a bitch? Monster had me laughing, even though it's not a funny scene, but we was cheering. I remember in the movie theater, we was cheering and was happy when all these guys got taken out. We was sad when Ricky got taken out, but we was happy when these guys got taken out. But Monster, that funny scene, he said, that funny line talking about, man, I'm still on parole. He said, hurry up, I'm still on parole. I ain't even supposed to be out here. So, you know, they took care of these dudes. We ain't never gonna see them guys no more. Ferris is gone. Ferris is gone, and his little dumb crew, they gone. They deserved every bit of getting gunned down, every bit of it, and nobody is doing no funeral or no repast for them. So Ricky didn't do it. I mean, not Ricky. Trey didn't do anything. He came, but he did defy his father. Father told him not to go out. He went out anyway, and he was covered in blood. Father was pissed off with him, but he was probably more relieved that he came home in one piece, you know. So the very next day, Doughboy comes across the street and he was like, I checked the news. They got everything on the news about wars and stuff going on, like what we got going on now. But nothing about my brother. So it's just like another nigga getting shot. The news do not care. And they, you know, so that's how it was then, and still how it is now to some degree. And so he said either they don't know or don't show or don't care what's going on in the hood. And that's the truth. It's still the truth. So he said, I ain't got no brother. He said, I ain't got no mother either. She don't care nothing about me. She only loved Rick. She only loved Ricky. So he knew that his mother didn't love him. He knew his mother didn't care nothing about him. Obviously, Doughboy's daddy must have been a real dog, because she took it out on Doughboy. So she showed him no love. She showed him no attention. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I might have to add her to the next time I do a bad Mother's Day list. She might have to be in there now. Now that I think about it, she should have been on that Mother's Day list of bad mothers. Do y'all think she's a good mother? You know, because you cannot love one son and don't love the other. That's right. Trey said, but man, you got one brother left. And they did hug each other. They cried. You know, that I like that. I love the rawness that Ice Cube was able to put into this character. So, this whole thing, it was terrible. Hey, RC, what's going on? Oh, yeah, that's okay. Well, you can always listen to the replay. You know the story of Boyz n the Hood. I just wanted to talk about it because I had never talked about it, and I just wanted to recap it. So, hey, Mo 69, they just said, oh yeah, they definitely deserve to be pop, 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 pop. Ain't nobody feeling sorry for them, dude. Nobody was feeling sorry who these clowns is. Nobody was feeling sorry for them. They deserve to be taken down. So and nobody care about them. So yeah, but anyway, this he he said he said, "Don't worry, you still got a brother. I'll still always be your brother." So Doughboy dumped out his 40 on the grass. He was walking across the street. And as he walking across the street, a crackhead came up to him and he was serving him as he walking across the street. And then they said the next day or the next week or whatever, they buried Ricky. 2 weeks later, Doughboy got taken out. So that he got taken out probably in retaliation of taking out. Because remember that he was a Crip and you taking out a rival blood gang member. So 2 weeks later, Doughboy got snuffed. Now, Trey goes off to Morehouse in Atlanta in the fall. This was probably like the summertime. In the fall, Trey went to Atlanta, and Brandi was across the way in Spelman down in Atlanta. So they're gonna still be together down there, and hopefully everything, I guess it was some, even though it was a tragic, sad ending, it still was a happy ending too, because at least nothing happened to Trey and Brandi, and then they go off to live their life. But it was tragic because we know that if Doughboy got taken out 2 weeks later after his brother, so that means the mother had to bury two sons back to back. So that's crazy. And this happens every day. Every day. I feel bad for the mothers and the fathers that got to go through this. But if Doughboy got taken out 2 weeks later after Ricky, that means Monster and Dookie probably was gone too. Or unless they got locked up again. So that's just crazy. That's just crazy to me. I mean, these stories do not these type of tragic situations still goes on in hoods all across America today. So yeah, Monster was no joke. Yeah, it was sad. They couldn't buy no food up there. Like yeah, I mean, that was just they sitting there eating burgers and fries after you just murder somebody. But that's how people are. People can now people are still, you hear this on the news or your social media, wherever. People just shooting people and then going on about their life like it ain't nothing. Just living their best life like it's nothing. Monster's like, I'm on probation. I'm on parole, whatever. A69. Let me see. I wanted to make sure I read all the comments. Doe shut it down. He wanted to make sure that you take out my brother, I'm taking you. And he made sure it didn't nobody live. But I bet you, since he's a Crip, and they were a rival blood gang, I'm sure that's probably why he got taken out. They don't have to be. Could have been the cops took him out. They didn't say how Doughboy got taken out. They just said 2 weeks later he was gone. She worse than the Londa. Name is one from the wine. Oh, you asking me, is she worse? I'd say no, Delonda might be, but something, we don't know that they probably the two are the same, because how we know that we never see Brenda had no job. They didn't show us any of this. I'm just making an assumption. We don't know that the Brenda didn't have a job or not. Or every time we saw her, she walking around, laying around in the bed. She got rollers in her hair, smoking Newport cigarettes or Cools, whatever type of Benson and Hedges. And so we ain't see her have no career aspects or anything. She probably, I bet you Doughboy was out there selling crack, selling heroin, and taking care of the bills at home. I bet you he was buying the groceries and putting food in the house. So I bet you, yeah, Doughboy probably was paying the bills. Everybody was eating and living because of Doughboy. Yeah, I think she's a bad mother. I'm with Monique on this. I'm with Mo 69 on this. I think she's a bad mother. I forgot all about her. When I did my Mother's Day list, I should have added her in. So she's definitely honorable mention for the bad mother list. Now I got to get my list together for Father's Day for the worst fathers in TV and film history. So y'all have to send me some names again. Um, I'll do that right before Father's Day. I'll be traveling during Father's Day weekend, but I'll do it like right before I travel. So um, and we'll have fun with that. Let me see. Uh, Brenda lost two sons. Yeah, within 2 weeks of each, she lost two sons. I know her conscience was whipping her. She should have treated him. Yeah, she should have. I mean, I know. I know. I mean, I ain't saying that Doughboy was a great person, but he probably would have been better had he not have his mama tearing him down like that. He didn't have a dad in his life. So if you ain't got your dad, at least you hope that your mama will show you some love, but that's not the case. Um, yeah, the retaliation never stops. Right, right, right. Um, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Glad they left. Glad they left their whole yeah, their whole childhood was gone. Yeah, you ain't got no child because it seemed like ever since they was like little kids, they was looking at dead bodies over in the corner. They was, seeing bullet holes and everywhere. So you never really had. That's why not Ricky. Trey got so tired. He was out there fighting when he was talking to Brandi, and he told me, "I'm so tired of this shit. I cannot wait to get." And then you got the cops who harassing you, and the racist cops. Um, and I bet you, no, I'm just they didn't show us any of this. I'm just going to add. I'm just going to add more to it that they did not show us. This the same neighborhood too that on Snowfall, that Franklin and Leon and Uncle Jerome and Louis was selling their stuff on him. So I bet you any amount of money that mother got hooked on that crack. This 1991, I bet you any amount of money the mother got hooked on the crack. You lost two sons. What else you got going on? I mean, she got the grandchild, but the mother probably got hooked on the drugs. Did you mention the classic move by Trey crying? Yeah, yes. But I ain't gonna say he was crying to get some. I know what you mean though. He was upset by that racist black cop because that prejudiced black cop, that coon, who kept harassing him all the time. And he was just tired of it. So he just like, shooting going on, helicopters flying over your house all the time. You keep getting stopped and harassed by the cops. He just got emotional and started crying. It was heavy on him. And, and one thing, and then she felt sorry. It was a tender moment, RC. I ain't gonna say he did it like let me pretend to cry so I can get some. You know what I'm saying? That's funny. Brenda on Section 8, but I bet you, yeah, she probably was on Section 8, but I bet Doughboy was probably paying the bills. He probably was selling the cocoa, the heroin, the crack, the whatever, so that he could also pay. Like the house was probably Section 8 and all that. And she probably was getting food stamps, but I'm sure he was sliding some money in his mom's pocket. I saw a theory on YouTube that Doughboy's real father was Furious. I mean, remember Furious said he was complimenting Brenda on her barbecue. He said, "Yeah, I would give her some, but she run her mouth too much. I would have gave her some," he said, "but she run her mouth too much." That was when Trey bought the plate of barbecue over, so nothing wrong with Section 8, but that lady never. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with Section 8. I ain't talking about that. Look, but she still ain't had no little job. She could have worked at McDonald's or something. To our knowledge, they didn't show her working. Every time we saw her, she laying around and rollers in her hand and smoking her Cools or her Newports or her Benson and Hedges cigarettes. Okay, so she didn't do nothing. Because if she did, they probably would have said it. She ain't did nothing. Also all of them were yes, yes. The women and the men, everybody look decent because this is how men, it's natural. Everybody was natural. We had natural bodies back in the 80s and 90s. Now, so even the men doing stuff to themselves now, it's a mess. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get up on out of here. I had a good time, just revisiting an old throwback movie. I love Boys in the Hood. Like I said, I've already done a whole laundry list of other movies. If y'all have any ideas, I know Miss Nisi gave me Talk to Me. I could recap that one day. If y'all have any other ideas of old school movies, whether it was come out in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, y'all let me know. Some I did a lot of things already, so some of them y'all could go back in my history on my YouTube channel and find. But it's still many that I haven't done, even some gangster movies too. So let me try to think. I think I did Fresh. Yeah, matter of fact, let me look at my go back on my YouTube channel. Yes, I did do Fresh. Maybe last year sometime. I did Fresh. Go through my YouTube channel. Go all the way back to the beginning, like 2 years ago, and you can find some of them I did with Moochie and Tamika. Some of them I did with other ladies. I did some of them I did by myself. So yeah, I did do those. I've done quite a few, but I'm gonna do some others and maybe even some more gangster movies too. I did Scarface. I ain't never do Godfather because that's a long one to do, and and Casino. That's a long one to do too, but I could probably do it. Just might have to shorten things up because it's a long movie. I might have to just do maybe just talk about different characters if I do those movies. So anyway, maybe once a month I might try. I don't want to commit, but I want to try to do maybe throwback movie maybe once a month. So yeah, if y'all have some other ideas, y'all let me know. Or even if it's a Tubi movie that y'all think is good, I'll check it out and then recap it or something. So y'all let me know. Truck Turner. Oh no, I don't think I did Truck Turner. I don't think so. I'm looking at my list here. I don't think I did. And I do have Truck Turner on DVD. I got a lot of black exploitation movies on DVD. Lots of them. So yeah, because we did. Now we didn't do Truck Turner, but we did do let me see, we did what you call it? What's the one with Fred Williamson? We Hell Up in Harlem and uh Black Caesar. Yeah, Black Caesar and Hell Up, and we did those. Higher Learning, that's a good one. Yeah, I have not done that one. Did I do Jason's Lyric? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm gonna go back on my list. I'm gonna go back and look and see. I do not think I did that. No, I didn't do Willie Dynamite. Okay, y'all giving me some good ones now. Okay. Okay. And I got all of these I have on DVD, and plus you can find them on streaming as well. So yeah, Jason's Lyric. I was like, I think we did do Jason's Lyric. Let me think. Jason's Lyric. I'm gonna go back and look at my list because I don't want to recap something I already then talked about. Let me go back through Miss Nisi, look through my list. I may do like a post and then say these are the ones I did. Y'all give me some more ideas. Um, I I want to say I did do Jason's Lyric, but I don't remember right offhand. So I need to go back so that Jason's Lyric. Jason, I think I did. Wait a minute. Let me see. Harlem. We did Harlem Nights, House Party, New Jack City. Let me see. I don't see because I wrote down a lot of them that I did so that I wouldn't go back and redo them. I did Love Jones. Um, I have not did the Wood. That's one that I keep saying I'm gonna start. I started putting it together and I never went back to finish it up. So I need to do the Wood, and then I also want to do what's the one called Blue Hill Avenue. I've been saying I want to do that for the last year or two, and I still haven't done that one. but I don't see Jason's lyric on my list. So that might I'll probably have to add that. Maybe I'll do like a poll or something. Willie Dynamite. That's yeah, I love Will Dynamite. King of New York. I don't think I did that one. That's a good one too. Lackawanna Blues, a good one. Okay, y'all give me some ideas. So I can't do these every week, but because Raising Cane gonna be coming back in the next couple of weeks, and so we'll all be busy with Raising Cane. Everybody and their mom are gonna be recapping, reviewing, talking about Raising Cane. So I will be doing that, but probably like once a month, and I'll at least by once a month I will I'll try to make see if I can. If it's not once a month, once every other month, but I want to be more consistent with doing my throwback movies. Because I have fun doing it, go back revisiting and watching these old movies again. So anyway, that's all I got now. I don't have nothing else going on this weekend. I don't think I'm gonna be on YouTube no more this weekend. So, but if I don't see y'all on the YouTube streets, oh wait a minute, let me see what Hoolum, I believe you may have done. I think so too. That's what I said. Let me go through my I've been up on YouTube for 2 years. Let me go back through and make sure that it's these things that y'all telling me I have not done them. So that way I'm not redoing them again. So that way I'm not redoing them again. So I don't want to do them again twice if I already did it. Because a lot of times we were doing them on each other's pages too. Like I might have been on Tamika's page or Moochie's page, but it might still have streamed to my page at the same time. So well, I was support game, and what it was, I was hopping around on everybody else's channel as a guest. I didn't really start my own YouTube channel. It's been 2 years now, this year, and it's been 2 years. So, that 2 years went by fast to me. It do seem like it's longer, but maybe y'all probably seen me for a longer time. I think y'all started seeing me up here on the YouTube streets around the pandemic time. And but I was just a guest on Moochie channel or Tamika channel, somebody else's channel. So but I appreciate y'all always supporting me, especially support game, and always here support me. Niecy's always here, RC. All I see has helped me behind the scenes, and she knows what she do. Shout out to her. She been helping me behind the scenes with a lot of stuff, so I really appreciate it. But yeah, what y'all doing for the holiday weekend? Do y'all celebrate Memorial Day, or what y'all doing for Memorial Day weekend? I know it's supposed to be like a day you celebrate the military, right? But I don't do nothing for Memorial Day. I don't celebrate nothing like that. But we're gonna get rain here in the DMV. I wanted to be out in Baltimore because they got a lot of festivals going on, and that's what I wanted to do. But they calling for maybe heavy rain showers. Think like a good 90%, 100% rain showers. So if it's gonna be pouring down rain, then I ain't gonna be out there being out in the streets in Baltimore at the because I like those outdoor festivals, but that's for when it's nice and warm and sunny out. And you got your shorts on and be walking around. You don't want to be no raincoat on and umbrella and be sitting there. No, it's not fun like that. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. The weather really has messed me up. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go bowling or something tomorrow. So I done seen the Michael Jackson movie twice. So I done seen now. I wish Scary Movie was out this weekend because I would go this weekend. But it's nothing I want to see this weekend. So that come out the next following weekends. I will be going to see Scary Movie, Scary Movie 6 the next following weekend. So anyway, that's about it. I ain't really got no plan. Yeah, just relaxing. I do want to get me. I think I'm gonna get me some crab legs though. I do think I'm gonna get me some crab legs. Might go do that. But other than that, I ain't got nothing going on. Same old, same old. And if I don't see y'all on the YouTube street somewhere, y'all have a good weekend. Have a safe weekend, please. And I will probably see y'all, I guess within the following week or so. Oh, I'm going to be doing one last thing. I'm going to be doing a recap of season 4, Raising Canaan again. I already did it the first time when it initially dropped, but I'm just going to go and kind of do like a recap summary of the last season of season 4. I'll do it like maybe the week before the new season starts. So that's going to be coming up soon. But y'all see it in I'll have it in the when it's set up, you'll see it pop up, and it'll be in the community tab. Speaking of MJ, Netflix is on that beat. I know. I was already cussing and mad about it this week. I done talked to Torian. I done talked to Booby. I done talked to Detroit. I was pissed off. I was talking to Tamika about it. I think I sent it to Mo 69. I was cussing it mad. You know what I'm saying? But I said I'm not watching it. I'm not supporting it. And they can I don't want to hear nothing negative about Michael Jackson. If it ain't positive, I don't want to hear. Okay? I don't want to hear. I will not be watching that, man. I'm not supporting it. Yeah, no. Please do not support it. Do not watch it. Okay? But I will be watching the documentary on Earth, Wind, and Fire that's going to come on HBO Max on June 7th. Y'all definitely check that out. I already put the trailer in my community tab. If you hadn't seen the trailer, watch the trailer for Earth, Wind, and Fire documentary that's directed by Questlove, or put together by Questlove, and it's going to be on HBO Max June 7th. I might talk about it. I actually may do something about that. I might. I'm frying fish and potatoes and onions for the holiday. Okay. Fried fish is good too. It's going to be a gloomy, chilly day here in the DMV this weekend. Like we had 90 degrees all freaking week. All of a sudden now the temperature has dropped and it's cool outside. Like you got, put your hoodie on and a jacket or whatever. And it's going to warm back up again next week. But a bad rainstorm then came through here. So I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to go out and about. But I might give me some crab legs, and other than that, I might be in the house. But if I don't do crab legs, fried fish might be good. I might fry some fish. So I can't wait for that Earth, Wind, and Fire documentary. One of my favorite groups. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a conversation about that. RC, I might talk about it. So we'll see. We'll see. I might just, at least, even if I just do like a little video or do something to talk about, I might. We'll see. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. It's been over 2 hours now. So I'll holler at y'all. Love y'all. Bye. Have a great weekend.